Hello and welcome to the instructional videos on the inquiry project for my biology courses. I'm doing the same video for both life sciences and anatomy and physiology um, because the project actually is going to be very similar, just based on different content depending on which course you're in. So, um, this is something that I'm actually quite excited about. This project is a chance for you to kind of dive into something that you're interested in. And, up to this point, um, you've been, studying the content. That's just a part of the curriculum, and that is important and that's good. However, I would like you guys to do, sort of an inquiry project into something that you're interested in. So when I say this word inquiry, what I'm hoping that this sparks in your mind is a student-led deep dive with lots of research. So student-led means you get to choose the topic that you're going to dive into, and then you get to research that topic really deeply. So what I am hoping is that some part of the course is maybe of greater interest to you than the others. So maybe you really connected with a certain topic, or maybe there was just something that one of the lecturers said that really got you interested, or maybe you already have something that you've been interested in. Maybe you like biology, and that's one of the reasons that you took my course. So I'm not going to tell you what your topic is going to be, but that's where we're going to be starting. We're going to be starting with the topic chosen by you. And if you need help with this, you can definitely come to me on Skype. Basically, during any part of the inquiry project, I can be there to help unravel things. So, what interests you? It could be maybe a disease, as sort of gloomy as that sounds, but maybe there's a disease that you have, or one of your family members has, or one of your friends has, and you want to do a really big inquiry project into that disease. Maybe it's an animal that you're just like really interested in. Maybe it's an organ. Maybe like you are so interested in the lungs or the heart, and you just really want to learn a lot more about that. Um, Depending, it really could look like a lot of different things. Off the top of my mind, I would probably want to do it on either um, penguins are one of my favorite animals, or dolphins. I did a big research project when I was in university on the New Zealand um, dolphin. It's the smallest one, or it's the smallest species, and they're really unique. I might do it on um, forests, or really the forest, or maybe population dynamics. If I were to do it on a disease, my mom, she had thyroid cancer when I was younger. They caught it really early and they were able to remove it, and she was fine. But remember, that was like the worst day ever of grade 8, finding out that she had it. But it was interesting because I could probably do a whole project on how the thyroid's actually really involved in your systems. You might not even know what a thyroid is. I didn't know what a thyroid is, but it's sort of like a gland, and it releases different hormones throughout your bodies, and it's actually pretty cool. Um, you know, um, Once you have sort of figured out what topic you want to shoot in that direction, then you can sort of think of a specific question or a problem that you're going to be addressing or answering during this inquiry project. So, if I were to choose, thyroid cancer, I could, do a whole project on how to prevent it or how to treat it. If I was doing a project on, the, population of dolphins in New Zealand, I could do basically, a huge analysis of how the populations are doing, how the regulation of different fishing policies have added to the population. Because I did my project, I know that they introduced some laws for fishing, and that actually helped boost the population there. If you're doing it on whatever it is, you can sort of pick out a question or a problem that you're going to be focusing on. So then the actual project itself. So the project is split into 3 parts. It's split up into like an introduction, and then a main body, and then a conclusion. So there's going to be different pieces to each segment, and I'll talk about the rubric and how this is going to be graded afterwards. But the introduction is where you are going to bring forth your question or your problem, and you're going to bring about your hypothesis about that, and you're going to provide a little bit of background information. So I probably don't know, or maybe I will, but depending on what topic you jump into, if you do it on whatever, a certain disease, or a certain animal, whatever it might be, or certain plant, certain insect, I'm probably not going to know that much about it. So I'm going to want you to do a little bit of background information just so that I can, catch up and see, sort of where you're going with your project. And then the main body is where lots of the marks come, probably most of them, or at least about half of them. And this is where you're going to be showing all of your research. You're going to show your methods for what you did, and your data, and also your findings. Now, when it comes to research, there's a really important part, and that is that one half of your research, I do want it to be online. I want you to go through Google. You can go through videos, you can go through TED Talks, you can go through scientific journals, however you choose to research this and find out about your topic, find out about whatever it is that interests you. But then you're going to have to do some of your own research. So not based on someone else's, but I actually want you to somehow find out some sort of research based on this. So this might be an area where we might need to Skype and sort of figure this out. If you're doing some like very rare and random disease, that might not help. But if you're doing, your topic on a disease, of someone that someone that you that you're able to talk to, you can do some research with them. If I were to do it on that population of dolphins out in New Zealand, I would have to contact someone there, and I'd have to do some research myself. So I'd have to talk to someone who lives there and is working, in that realm. So that's just a really important point I want to make sure that is that I do want to make sure that you're getting some research from online, but then you're also doing some research yourself and providing that. So when it comes to your methods, I want you to just basically explain what you did, how you went about finding everything. You're going to have to present your data. Maybe that's in a table. Maybe that's with some pictures. Maybe that's with a video. I'm not sure exactly the way you're going to have to collect your data. It's going to depend on your topic. And then your findings. Maybe you're going to display this in a graph. Maybe you're going to, have your findings in a picture, things like that. You're not going to want to analyze any of this. You're just going to leave data, tables, and everything just so that I can see it. And then in the conclusion, that's where you analyze it, and you're able to connect it to your hypothesis. You're able to connect it to your problem and your question at the beginning. You're able to connect your research with what you found in your own, findings, and you can talk about what you learned and why this is important and why it's interesting. So that's how you wrap it up. And I'm really, really excited to be able to, mark this and see what you did. And I know that they'll be very interesting and all over the map. If you've got like a crazy idea, like you want to do your project on, Star Wars alien populations, like that's so cool. Let's meet, let's figure that out. If you want to do it on, Zelda and the forests there, or Link and his, I don't know, his ability to have his heart increase in size as he gets all the different heart containers. Or Lord of the Rings, and you want to do it on the different characters and their strengths and different things. If you have a background, I'm also really passionate about like nerdy stuff, so I would maybe try to integrate those types of things into my project. I also really love mountain biking, so maybe I could connect something in my project to mountain biking and how it would affect mountain biking. Um, if I look at a disease that affects, maybe I can find out a way to still allow that person to be able to mountain bike. Um, so you can definitely bring in your passions into your project and connect that. One thing that I do want you to note though is that you will be graded on connections to science. So I do want this to be a science project, directed in an inquiry mode. So you get to direct where it's going, and you're the one doing the research and the deep dive. But it does have to relate to biology some way, somehow. So I'll be right back in part 2, and I'm excited to see what you choose to do your project on.